me so annoyed. So annoyed. And it will never fail to amaze me how gullible people are and how easily the literal wool, is pulled over their eyes. I'm sure many of you by now know what I'm talking about. The math and the sheer audacity to keep poking at people, misrepresenting things, and then claiming you just want to be left alone. And I heard some shit last night that had me so annoyed. So annoyed. And it will never fail to amaze me how gullible people are and how easily the literal wool, is pulled over their eyes. I'm sure many of you by now know what I'm talking about. The math and the sheer audacity to keep poking at people, misrepresenting things, and then claiming you just want to be left alone. It is literally infuriating. And you would think, I mean, I've dealt with this for literal years, right? So you would think it's nothing new. Like you would think you get used to it, but you don't. Hello, Winnie the Pup. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I'm going to show you all what happens. Because, of course, once again, the only person to show receipts, and what do you know? The receipts don't even match, right? They don't match what she showed before. And I mean, there's so much. I mean, she starts the whole thing out when she wants to be like, she just wants it all to stop. I can't name a singular creator that she considers the quote unquote dark side that she didn't name last night, that she didn't go at. And it amazes me that people would believe that this woman had to supposedly raise $8,000 to try to get it all to stop, but yet can't stop herself. Right, the invoices made no sense. The dates weren't matching. They didn't match what she showed before. She'll never tell you, Missy Lou, because that's why somebody like her is so hyper focused at pointing everybody over this way, right? They're liars. They don't show receipts. The only person who has to keep trying to convince themselves, try to convince the audience that they're the ones being honest, are usually those who are being dishonest. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that you ever hear somebody say, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Or, all right, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like when somebody has to start with that, they're more than likely lying to you. And that is exactly what I see with that. An invoice is not a receipt. It shows nothing. All you sent out were C&Ds. And you have the sheer nerve to compare that to actual attorney names on a docket? Actual court filings where the attorney is listed? You somehow think your homemade invoices combat that? Exactly, Pookie. Just like when I have to say, listen, not to hurt your feelings, bitch, I know I'm about to hurt your feelings, right? It's one of those things. You don't have to preface a sentence with, I'm going to be honest, if you're really just going to be honest, or it's not difficult to understand. Yeah, having an invoice number at a later date than the previous paid invoice doesn't make any sense. Neither is not knowing for 13 days that your payment was flagged. But she said her payment on July 23rd or whatever, correct me if I'm wrong on the date, didn't go through, right? So she had to pay like 2 days later, whatever it was. But then later, she then again says she paid $2K on the 23rd. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Love you being back, Winnie. Thank you so much. Crazy Girl Oddities, thank you so much for being. We have a YouTube baby. I hope you have a great day as well. Thank you. Let PJ ignore the PA matter. When she loses by default, it'll be funnier. She's a fool and never listens to advice. I'm glad you mentioned that, B-Tim, so let's talk about that too. One of the dumbest thing I hear her audience saying is, Granny's doing this to try to move jurisdiction. Granny's just doing this to try to move jurisdiction. It doesn't automatically move jurisdiction. Hey, morons, can you tell me what fucking thing I'm trying to move to what jurisdiction? Can we start with that? There is no legal filing in North Carolina. Therefore, there is no established jurisdiction. The only actual filing now is over here in Pennsylvania. So it's not a matter of moving because there was nothing to move. What am I moving? What I'm doing is I'm moving the clock because I'm not going to continue for another 3-4 months to be tormented with the possibility of either more baseless litigation or losing my channel. So you morons that keep saying that sounds stupid. Ask yourself, when I'm moving, there's nothing to move. And not only that, we are already in active litigation. I think a lot of you forget that. You can't move something that doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense. Right, but she shouldn't because she paid all her flat rates. So she should be all caught up. 712, that was when she first started trying to get money, cried a lot, said she needed it ASAP, and people gave to her cash apps. 712 was when Craig was on the docket. Find it weird. She didn't know Brenda donated $1,500 a month ago. How much money do you have to be sitting on to not know you just received an extra $1,500? And she shouldn't be pushing any fundraiser when she has Craig back there saying how well off he is. And then, right, only she can speak on people. People can't speak back, right? And then to sit there and say, I never said I was taking down channels. Craig said that when that was just drunken Craig. I know. The most amazing thing I've ever heard. I only talked about Granny one time since sending her CD. Bullshit. You delusional, video hiding liar. This is what I think happened. I think that Brittany told this attorney that she had these people that were doing these horrible things like false claims to CPS, trail cams in her yard, driving past her house, threatening her life, and all these things. And he likely said to her, I can help you resolve all of this. And we can, do something about it. So she retained, for a flat rate retained, right? And then when it became time, when she needed to present all of the truth, she was incapable of doing that. So now she's left spinning on a C&D because she doesn't have what she needs to back up her claims. Yes, and they did not respond to my C&D. They did not respond to my response to the C&D. If you think that anybody has to sit, the idea, the delusions in which that person speaks is infuriating. And then imagine to sit there and say, there's a constitution for a reason. Has anybody heard me say that this was a declaratory order? Have I ever presented to all of you that this was already before a judge? The declaratory judgment? Have I presented it? Put a 1 in the chat. The answer is no. Put a 2 if I made you feel like this already went in front of a judge and she made an order. I never said that. And the fact that you have to twist that to try to convince your audience that I'm lying of something instead of admitting the only reason I'm doing this is to get clarification on our constitutional rights. See, people like her crack me up. They always think the Constitution protects them, but they can also use it as a weapon against others, right? I don't have a right to my constitutional rights. It's precisely what I'm doing. I'm asking a judge to clarify where the constitutional rights start, where they end, and what is actionable and what is not. And I'm doing that because since July, I've had it hung over my head that I'm going to wake up one day to my channel, my income gone, and or possibly be facing a lawsuit. And don't forget, I was also threatened with criminal charges, okay? How many of you are going to sit around and let somebody keep berating you in that way? Keep intimidating you in that way? And the fact that she thinks she is now a victim of her own doing again?
I don't know if this would be very...
Can I make this very clear? I heard what she said, right? And I hope that is the truth. But you know what I think it really is? There's a reason Craig said as many times as he did that we are either going to lose our channels, be in a courtroom, and or face criminal charges, right? If she wants to claim now that he was drunk, fine. But why didn't you correct him? Why didn't you ever turn around and say, Craig, that is not what we're doing? And better yet, why did he think that's what you're doing?